Gary Washington, Boston
Gary.
Globe. For the last few years, you've been on board with high schoolers entering the draft, but there's no I guess it's going to be the next CBA. Is there a timeline on that? And would you like to, like, let's say, inform the first class who would be eligible for that draft? Okay, this is when this is going to begin.
Well, Gary, so I've been very public, back a few years ago that my position had changed. That when I first became commissioner in 2014, I had talked about raising the eligibility age to 20, and over the years have been convinced, because of a lot of societal changes, now most recently change in NIL, et cetera, and listening to Condoleezza Rice and hearing her committee's recommendations, that we should move to 18. But as I've said, it's not my unilateral ability to do that. It can only happen through collective bargaining. There were some discussions that we had when Michelle Roberts was still the executive director as to whether that was something we wanted to do on a one-off basis, and it didn't end up happening. And I think in part because some of the players are conflicted and some of the teams are conflicted about what's right here. I think, though, at this point that as we sit down in our collective bargaining cycle, it'll clearly be on the table. I haven't had the conversation directly with Tamika Tremalio or the union to know exactly where they stand on it and what other issues may become part of that discussion. I'll just add, I was down at the Players Association runs their top 100 program, top 100 essentially high school players in the country. I was incredibly impressed with what they were down in Orlando, coincidentally, right on the courts where we played in the bubble when we were down there. And it informally led to a discussion we were having with Players Association about how much more we potentially can be doing to help youth basketball. I mean, as I said, I mean, that's their program. They've been at it for, I think, roughly 30 years and have been doing an incredible job. And I don't want to interfere with what they're doing. It just was eye-opening to me to say that it may be the case that it's in all of our interest that we start impacting with these young players, especially because in our sport they're identified at such a young age, and begin their working with them on their development then, not just obviously basketball skills, but increasingly there's a focus on their mental health, their diets, just helping them build character and all the important values around the sport. So I think there's an opportunity. It's a larger conversation than just whether we go from 19 to 18, but I'm on record, and when I balance all these various considerations, I think that would be the right thing to do, and I am hopeful that that's a change we make in this next collective bargaining cycle, which will happen in the next couple of years.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.